A seat at the table. The afternoon sun filtered through the old oak trees lining Maple Street, casting dappled shadows across the cobblestone sidewalk. Marcus Hayes sat at a small table outside Rosewood Cafe, his navy blue suit jacket draped over the back of his chair. His daughter, Emma, perched on his lap, her small hands wrapped around a glass of strawberry lemonade. It was their Friday ritual. Every week, Marcus left the office early to spend the afternoon with his 5-year-old daughter. No phone calls, no emails, just the two of them, sharing pastries and watching the world go by. Marcus had learned the hard way that time was precious. After his wife, Sarah, passed away 2 years ago, everything changed. The long hours at the office suddenly felt meaningless. The corner office with the view of downtown seemed empty. Nothing mattered more than the little girl who looked up at him with her mother's warm brown eyes. "Daddy, can I have the croissant?" Emma asked, pointing at the golden pastry on the plate between them. "Of course, sweetheart," Marcus said, breaking off a piece and handing it to her. "But save some room. We still have those chocolate chip cookies coming." Emma giggled, her ponytail bouncing as she nodded enthusiastically. She took a bite of the croissant, getting flaky crumbs on her pink dress. Marcus smiled and gently brushed them away. The street was busy that afternoon. People walked past with shopping bags and briefcases. A street musician played guitar on the corner, his case open for donations. The smell of fresh bread and coffee drifted from the cafe's open door, mixing with the cool autumn air. Marcus took a sip of his coffee and watched Emma. She was humming a song from one of her favorite cartoons, swinging her legs back and forth. These moments were what he lived for now. The simple joy of an afternoon with his daughter, away from the stress of running Hayes Technologies. But something caught Emma's attention. Her humming stopped and she turned in his lap, looking past him toward the edge of the outdoor seating area. "Daddy?" she said softly. "Yes, Princess?" Emma pointed across the patio. "That lady over there?" She looked sad. Marcus followed his daughter's gaze. On the far side of the seating area, partially hidden behind a large planter box, sat a young woman. She was alone at a small table, wearing a cream-colored dress that might have been elegant once but now looked worn and faded. Her dark hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail and she sat very still, her hands folded in her lap. She wasn't eating, wasn't drinking, just sitting there staring at nothing. She's probably just waiting for someone. "Emma," Marcus said gently, trying to redirect his daughter's attention back to their meal, but Emma was not easily distracted. She studied the woman with the intense focus only a child could manage. Marcus noticed what his daughter had seen. The woman's thin frame, the way her shoulders seemed to curve inward as if she were trying to make herself smaller. The distant look in her eyes. "Daddy," Emma whispered, tugging on his sleeve. "I don't think she has any food." Marcus looked again. The woman's table was empty except for a glass of water. As he watched, a waiter approached her, speaking briefly. The woman shook her head and looked down at her hands. The waiter lingered for a moment, then walked away with a sympathetic expression. Emma turned to face her father, her small face serious. "Daddy, she looks hungry. Can I share my food for her?" Marcus felt his chest tighten. His 5-year-old daughter, who had lost her mother so young, who had every reason to focus only on her own needs, wanted to help a stranger. Sarah would have been so proud. "Emma, that's very kind of you," Marcus said carefully, "but we don't know her. She might not want—" "Please, Daddy." Emma's eyes were wide and earnest. "Mommy always said we should help people when they need it." Remember? Marcus did remember. Sarah had volunteered at food banks and shelters, always making time for others despite her busy schedule as a teacher. She had believed in the simple act of kindness, of seeing people and their needs. He looked at the woman again. Something about her tugged at his heart, not pity, but recognition. He saw in her the same exhaustion he had felt after Sarah died, the same sense of being lost in a world that kept moving while you stood still. "All right," Marcus said softly. "But let's do this the right way." He called the waiter over and spoke quietly, ordering another serving of everything they had: croissants, sandwiches, soup, and dessert. Then he wrote a quick note on the back of his business card and handed everything to the waiter with clear instructions. Emma watched with bright eyes as the waiter carried a full tray to the woman's table. They saw him set it down and hand her the card. The woman looked confused, then turned to look at them. Marcus gave a small nod. Emma waved enthusiastically. For a long moment, the woman just stared. Then, slowly, her eyes filled with tears. She looked down at the food, then back at them, her hand pressed to her chest. "Daddy, she's crying," Emma whispered, worried. "Did we make her sad?" "No, sweetheart," Marcus said, his own throat tight. "Sometimes people cry when they're happy, too." They watched as the woman picked up her fork with trembling hands and took a small bite. Then another. She ate slowly, carefully, as if she couldn't quite believe it was real. Emma settled back against her father's chest, satisfied. "Good," she said simply. "Now she won't be hungry." Marcus hugged his daughter close, overwhelmed by the purity of her compassion. In his world of business deals and corporate strategy, he had forgotten how simple kindness could be, how much it could mean. They finished their own meal in comfortable silence, Emma occasionally glancing over to make sure the woman was still eating. The afternoon sun grew warmer, and the street musician switched to a gentler melody. As they were preparing to leave, Marcus noticed the woman stand up from her table. She hesitated, then walked toward them, clutching his business card in her hand. Up close, she was younger than he had thought, perhaps in her late 20s. Her eyes were red from crying, but there was something else there now, something that looked like hope. "I'm sorry to bother you," she said, her voice soft and uncertain. I needed to say thank you." "You have no idea what this means," Emma beamed up at her. "You're welcome. I'm Emma. That's my daddy, Marcus." The woman smiled, a real smile that transformed her face. "I'm Claire. She paused, struggling with her words. "I've been having a really hard time lately. Lost my job 3 weeks ago. Lost my apartment. I've been staying at the shelter, but I came here today because it was my birthday, and I just wanted to sit somewhere beautiful and remember what normal felt like." Marcus stood up, still holding Emma. "I'm sorry you're going through this, Claire." "The thing is," Claire continued, her voice stronger now, "I was sitting there thinking that maybe I should just give up, that maybe things would never get better, and then your daughter." She looked at Emma with wonder. She saw me, and she cared, and I realized that if there's still that much kindness in the world, maybe I can keep trying. Emma reached out and patted Claire's hand. "You should keep trying, and you can have the rest of our cookies too if you want." Claire laughed through her tears. "Thank you, Emma," Marcus made a decision. He pulled out another business card and a pen, writing on it. "Claire, this is my direct number. Hayes Technologies is always looking for talented people. I don't know what your background is, but if you're interested in an opportunity, please call me on Monday." Claire stared at the card in disbelief. "Hayes Technologies. You're Marcus Hayes? I'm just a father having lunch with his daughter," Marcus said with a small smile. "And I believe in second chances. Everyone deserves them." Claire clutched the card to her chest, fresh tears streaming down her face. "I will call. I promise. Thank you. Thank you both so much." As they walked home later, Emma's small hand in his, Marcus felt something shift inside him. For 2 years, he had been focused on protecting his daughter from the world's hardness, on keeping her safe in their bubble of two. But Emma had shown him something important today. She had shown him that compassion didn't make you vulnerable. It made you strong. That seeing others' pain and choosing to help didn't weaken you. It connected you to humanity. That Sarah's legacy lived on not in his grief, but in the kindness their daughter offered freely to a stranger. "Daddy?" Emma said as they reached their house. "Yes, Princess." "I'm glad we helped Claire. Do you think she'll be okay?" Marcus squeezed his daughter's hand. "I think she will be, because today she learned something important. She learned that people care, that she's not alone, and that makes all the difference." Emma nodded, satisfied with this answer. As they climbed the front steps, Marcus sent a silent thank you to Sarah, wherever she was. Their daughter had inherited the best of her, a heart that saw need and responded with love. Sometimes, Marcus realized the most important business a CEO could conduct happened not in a boardroom, but at a small table on a sunny street where a little girl reminded the world what truly mattered.